Welcome back to Rise Up. Here we are with our special guest, a very, very dear sister, Sister Priya. How are you doing, Priya?
Alhamdulillah, I'm well, thank you.
It's great to finally have you on, Priya. We've been planning this for a while, and today was the fated day, so great to see you.
Thank you for having me.
We're so excited. We're really excited. You have a very unique kind of background. I'm not sure if we've actually interviewed anyone from Priya's background yet.
I'm very excited about this particular interview because I think, again, it really speaks about that diversity that we spoke about before Sister Priya came here on the couch. And, you know, we've just been saying that in the montage of believers that was in the introduction of this particular episode, it showed people from all over the world with all types of backgrounds, and I think people would love to hear about yours.
Exactly. We're very excited to jump in, and for anyone who's watching this and who's probably familiar with Brother Naser.
Oh yeah,
Brother Naser is actually your husband.
Yes, he is my husband.
Yes.
So let's just get that out there first before we start with. Let's go into your background, how you were raised, what religion you were raised with, all that stuff.
Okay, so I was born in a Hindu background. My mum is from Nairobi, Africa, and my father is from India, Gujarat. So I was raised not as a strict Indian, but over the years I wanted to become religious, so I looked into Hinduism. I started going to the temple once a week. My parents weren't so happy about it because, well, they're not religious, but I am. It kind of looks bad on them. But I wanted to know why we were here. What is our purpose on earth? Why, like, we can't just be here to enjoy life and then that's the end of it. There must be a reason why we're put on this earth. So my mission was to try and see if I can find that out. The only downfall of that was the only people I could ask was people themselves. So I asked my parents. They could only answer what their parents told them, which is, we're just here. So I tried for a very long time to try and find the answers, but I just didn't find the answers. But that doesn't mean I lost faith in God, because I knew that we're here, we have a purpose. I still believe that there's God. But it was about finding where I needed to go. So I kind of left it for a while. And then I just carried on with my life. And then in the end, I ended up getting married to a Brahmin, which according to the Hinduism, it's like the hierarchy sort of side. If anything, your parents should be proud of you because you've kind of gone to the higher status. But my parents weren't, so I had to fight for my marriage.
That's interesting.
So I got married, and it only lasted about a year. And then, unfortunately, I went through a divorce. And then, again, it still didn't let me lose faith in God.
So you knew there's a God, but were you feeling that more from the Hindu side of life? Were you feeling like a Hindu at heart, or was it just that there's something out there but I don't know what it is?
So being a Hindu, there was only a relation to all the festivals that was going on, but I didn't feel that there was a connection.
So your parents did celebrate the festivals then?
Yeah, so the Diwali, the Hori, all the pujas that you have, the Navratri, which is Garba, which they do dancing every 10 days of the year or something.
I have to say, growing up with the Bollywood culture, Holi is one thing I was like, why don't we have that?
Yeah, Holi is fun.
There's some cool festivals.
Holi is fun.
Yes.
The funny thing is, it sounds fun, but I've never actually celebrated it where we've thrown the colour.
Really? Why?
Because they do that more in India. But I've always wanted to go to India at that time of the year. Not that it happened, but it would have been nice.
Yeah. I mean, so your parents weren't, what do you mean by they weren't religious and they became upset when you started looking in your own tradition? Now, I'd understand if it was like going into a different religion.
Yeah, like Islam or something like that.
But they had a problem with you going to the mandir, going to the temple.
Because I was praying. So they didn't pray. There was no prayers in the morning or anything of such thing, or even going to the temple. Whereas I made it my task to go once a week to the temple and pray every morning.
Interesting.
So for them to look at their child doing it and they're not doing it themselves, I think it was a bit shocking.
I see.
Yeah.
And what motivated you to try and look for that inner meaning or that deeper meaning? Was it just a spark that you felt, or did something happen to you that made you feel that way?
I think it was just the question that I had. What is my purpose? Like, why am I here?
Interesting.
It wasn't about why is everybody else here. It's why am I here? Like, what am I here to do? That I must have a task or something, you know. So it was basically that triggered it off. As I got older, I was like, you know, I need to find out, you know, I need to know where I need to lead myself to. That's
you know, before you came, Sister Priya, Ali and I were just talking about this topic, and I love the synchronicity with which God works, because we were talking about, well, you know, Abba Sadiq answered a very interesting question, and he said that there are some people that have the soul, and a soul is not necessary to have in every single living being. But you know, this, what you said, I think this supersedes everything. That I think one of the key symptoms of having a soul, if you will, is that you have this sense of purpose. Like, why am I here?
Yeah.
That question alone is, I think, a real... I think this makes us human, right?
Exactly.
We're like, why are we on this planet?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then you asked that question from a very early age, and then you followed through by seeking God in your own tradition, which is Hinduism.
Yeah.
Which is fascinating. And you would go to the temples and you would worship in the ways that you did. And then, where do we go from there? I mean, you've seen how Abba Sadiq has spoken about Hinduism, and he's done several lectures on it.
Yes.
Absolutely awe-inspiring. And so you were saying that after this time, what happened next in your journey?
So I obviously left it. I didn't. The question was still in my mind, but I wasn't in search of it. After my marriage broke down, I went into deep depression because in Hinduism, when you get a divorce, you always get told that you're a used item. Nobody's going to want to marry you again.
Right, that's part of the culture, unfortunately, and it's actually a Pakistani Indian kind of thing, isn't it? It's not even just a Hinduism thing. It's more like a regional cultural thing.
Yeah. So my mom was always on the side of it's your fault, and my dad was. Me and my dad had a different connection where he was very emotional, and he was like, look, everything will be fine, just come back home. I picked myself up, and then we come to Naser. So obviously I've got nothing to hide. So I was on a dating website. I was on there for at least 6 months before I found Naser. And I was watching a TV program at the time that I read Naser's message. He was asking me about the Goonies. I mean, if you're an 80s child, you'll know that it's a very popular movie. And I was watching the Goonies at the time. So from then...
What a sign.
Yeah. So it was like, hold on a minute, how did this happen? So then it was, amazing. To me, that was fate. And then I started messaging him. We met up within a week. And then we sort of clicked from there. And then obviously we've had 2 children. And then, but before I met him, I said to him, if you're Muslim, then you need to tell me now. Because if you're a Muslim, I can't be with you. My parents will disown me. I've already been warned as growing up, because my parents have always said, stay away from them because they're here to get all the Indian girls.
Wow.
There was nothing good I heard about
interesting.
Islam.
What did you know of Islam at that point?
Hold the phone.
Yeah, this is like...
I didn't know anything about Islam because I wasn't given the opportunity to look into it. I was already told to avoid it.
So you had that phobia already of like, this is a bad thing, stay away from it.
Exactly. But he, at the time, I believe, was not a Muslim, and his name didn't indicate that he was. But I was very skeptical, so I was like, I need to see your passport. Can you show me?
You're really doing your research, huh?
Yeah, I think it's because my first experience was very bad, so it was like making sure that this is going to be real, because I don't have time to mess about. So I saw his passport, and his name was obviously not a Muslim name. So we got together, but then after about, I think, I'd say about 4 years of being together or something, he started praying.
Because Naser's had his own interview here on Rise Up. He's had his own kind of journey through the different faiths. And he's been Christian, and he's been he's been in different faiths. And now at this point, when you guys have collided, at that point in your relationship, he's exploring Islam now.
Yes.
That's where we have reached.
So I saw him praying, obviously, me watching Hindi movies and stuff. I was like, hold on a minute, this is called namaz. This is what Muslims do. And then we discussed it, and he goes, have you noticed? I said, yes, I have. Like, what's going on? And he's told me that he's gone back to being Muslim, and I was like, okay, so what does that mean? And I believe because we were following Sunni Islam, I mean, I don't know the difference between the sects very well because I didn't know at the time. He said, obviously, those 2 children doesn't count as his. So we need to decide what's going to happen, whether I stay or he leaves or vice versa. So I decided to up and leave with my 2 kids, and I left him with no contact.
Because he had chosen to become Muslim.
Yes, and we couldn't be together because we weren't married. But when I left, something told me, well, hold on a minute, Islam keeps coming to me and I'm not really looking into it, so maybe I should. So secretly I read the Quran on my phone device. Obviously you can do that without anyone knowing. And I read it from the beginning till the end.
Because now you went back to your parents' place?
I was living with my mum.
Okay, there you go.
I took my 2 children there.
Wise move.
Yeah, I took my 2 children there. I was living with them. I spoke to my mum about it briefly and she goes, don't even think about it. Which I think made me want to look into it even more.
Right.
Because you're stopping me from doing something. I'm an adult now.
The result of censorship. It's
Yeah.
going to do that.
So I read the Quran from the beginning to the end. And by the time I got to the end, I was very overwhelmed. I was very emotional. Tears were flowing. And that's because everything I wanted to know was in there. We are living in a temporary world. We're here to be tested. We're not here to live a life of joy. What we're living for is to be in the afterlife. And to me, that was the answer to my question as to why we were here. We do have a purpose. And then I called him after 3 months and I said, look, I've read the Quran. And he's like, no, you haven't. I was like, yes, I have. Test me.
He couldn't believe you, huh?
And so he asked me a few questions from it and I answered it and he goes, wow. He goes, you have read it. And then literally the next day we had our nikah done. My parents didn't come. They disowned me, which we knew was going to happen. But his parents were there as witnesses and we went to the mosque. We had a very simple nikah.
Ceremony, yeah.
And then we started living together and we had, well, now we've got 3 more children together.
Yes.
So beautiful.
Yes.
And
your
they are
children
such
are
lovely
amazing.
children.
We were just speaking about them before you came
Yes,
on,
we
and they're
were.
just little bundles of joy and love. And I have to say that because your kids are awesome.
They are.
Thank you very
We
much.
love
All
them
the
so
kids here
much.
are beautiful though.
But that story is so fascinating, and I have quite a few questions for you, actually. So you are probably, and correct me if I'm wrong, Dr. Irfan, but I think she's probably the first person from a Hindu background that we've interviewed here.
Yeah.
And I would love to get your take on what was it about Hinduism that you liked, and what was it about the religion that did not appeal to you?
Okay. So with Hinduism, I love the festivals. I really felt like I connected with the festivals and having to celebrate them every single year. That's the most you kind of want to look forward to. Every year you want to meet your friends and then get on with the ceremonies. It was just lovely. Also love the lavish weddings.
Right, yeah.
I think my wedding was like 1,000 people.
And it's beautiful, isn't it? It brings a lot of people together and there's joy and there's celebration. And I mean, who wouldn't want part of that?
Good food.
Yeah.
But the thing is, you don't know half of the guests. They're only
True.
coming for the
That's
food.
unfortunate.
But I think what I probably disliked a little bit about the religion is nobody actually speaks about the religion itself. They kind of just do what their ancestors have told them and as
So
it's been
rituals.
passed out. Exactly. But nobody knows the meaning behind it or why they do it. And if you ask the question, it's like, well, this is just how it is. Nobody knows why. Nobody questions it.
How interesting. It's very similar in that sense to Islam, isn't it? Rituals that people don't understand why they're doing them, but they do them. And they don't really know why. Like the essence is missing.
Yeah, very much so. Yeah, no, I mean, this is the thing. You have religious practices that we do, and me coming from a Muslim background, it's like, you know, the why are we doing this? Well, because you have to do it because
you have
everybody
to do
else
it.
does it.
Yeah,
Well, what does it
exactly.
mean? I mean, why are we doing this 5 times a day? Why can't we do it twice a day? No, you have to do it 5 times a day because I said so, you know? And that actually can drive a wedge between you and your parents and anyone who's teaching you religion. Why do I have to learn to speak the Quran in Arabic? I have no idea what this says. How is this going to impact me in any positive way?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I guess you had the same kind of experience.
Yeah, so I questioned everything. Obviously, marriage rituals as well. There's so many things that you've got to do. It's like, why? What's the purpose of this and everything? But luckily at school, I chose to investigate Hinduism. And I investigated marriage, birth and death
Interesting.
as to why they do certain things in the rituals. And I believe that obviously, why do in Hinduism they cremate? And also, why do they bury babies, but they don't cremate babies? I mean, whether I found out the real reason or not, I don't know. But from asking people and researching on my own, it's the things that I found out was quite interesting.
Yeah.
I think my uncle, as in my mum's brother, he's got his own little ground in Africa where they cremate and they bury babies. And I asked him, and I said, why do you cremate adults and only bury babies? And he said something to do with the smell that comes from the kids when they're burnt or something. But I don't know the real reason as to why they do it in such a way, but
interesting.
You know, this is another thing I have to give a shout out to. A very good movie you have to watch. It's a Bollywood film and it's one of my favorites actually, and I think everybody should watch it. Even if you don't understand the language, you can get it in subtitles. It's called Oh My God, I believe.
I've watched it.
It's Akshay Kumar and he comes back as Krishna, and the number of lessons in that movie are just astounding.
It's amazing movie.
Because it makes you ask questions about your faith. What are we actually reciting when we're, reciting these rituals and prayers that we don't know the meaning of, and how the scholars kind of pervert the religion. It's got all of these amazing themes in it. And now Krishna, who would have thought?
Krishna is an unknown prophet.
Subhanallah.
Right? And we do believe in Krishna. Yes. And I want to actually jump into our own teachings of when it comes to the side of Hinduism and how you received those. But before I get too deep into the Ahmadi religion of peace and light side, I wanted to know, you coming from a Hindu background, you must have believed in polytheism, the idea of many gods.
Yes.
So tell us what that meant for you as a Hindu and how it was transitioning into believing in one God only. Yeah.
And also which God that, because people also have this specific God that they turn to,
I want to know about that.
Which was your favorite God of
Well,
I'm curious.
So my question was, why do we have so many gods that we pray to? But according to my mum, she said they are literally just, it's one God, but they come in avatar, I believe what they say. Yeah. So they just come in different forms, but we are only praying to one God.
That's so interesting. So see, you hear it from the Hindu side. It's very different to how it's portrayed by a Muslim. When they talk about Hinduism, they'll always say they have all these gods, but it's much deeper than that, isn't it?
Yes, because each God represents something different.
And in life. Yes, exactly. Yes. Like we would say one of the names of God. Yeah.
So for me, I think, I don't know why, but I think it must have been the story of how it became. But for me, my favorite was Ganesh, because of his elephant head and how it happened. I mean, again, the story that I've been told is by people. I think I have watched a few films or cartoon animations, which kind of shows that it's the same. Of how he got his head and stuff, but it's just a beautiful story of how his mother created him.
And there are so many amazing stories.
Exactly. So he was my favorite, and I believe that with him comes strength. So it was, and I actually had him tattooed on my arm.
Oh wow!
So definitely my favorite.
Could that be a connection? Yes, that's fascinating.
That is a very fascinating.
Hopefully, more revelations to come.
Yeah, okay, cool. So now you went into Islam and you were told, okay, there's one God, and you were already resonating with that anyway. So that must have been a big jump though.
It was. So from what I read in the Quran, it was a very peaceful religion, which was great. Like I felt like I found my peace. Yeah. But my husband, it's not his fault. He obviously told me about Yajuj Majuj, the end of times, and all I was hearing was
chaos.
The end of times.
The end is nigh.
And I was like,
thank you,
wow. So does that mean that I've got myself into a religion which is about to end? Or, what have I done? Like, what have I got myself into? I mean, I tried to stay as positive as possible, but it was a bit difficult because it was all very scary. Huh? Yeah, it was very scary. Knowing, like, I think at some point it was explained to me that the sky will be ripped in half like a piece of paper.
Rent asunder.
Yeah, and people will rise from the dead, and it was very, very traumatizing. And then even becoming a Muslim, the restrictions that come with it, such as wearing the headscarf, not leaving the house without your husband, not talking to people that aren't Muslim.
Oh my goodness!
It was very oppressing for me, and as time went on, I just felt it got more difficult because being alone, not being able to speak to other people, just you, your husband, and your kids. I mean, I was like, is this the life? Like, is this how it's meant to be? And then obviously Naser discovered another man, which again, I didn't know that there was a Mahdi or we were waiting for anybody. But this is where I got educated into everything as he was finding out and he was in search of the Mahdi, and then I was learning what we were meant to be doing, who we're meant to be finding, the Imam of the time. So I followed him with what he was doing, but I can't say that my heart was 100% in there, if that makes sense. I didn't feel that...
Convinced, basically.
Yes.
Because there were all these different paths that Naser had jumped into, and he was trying to discover, as you said, the Imam of the time. So he was looking and searching, but you were not really feeling a lot
I didn't feel anything, no. And so we went to... he followed him. Things were a bit hard for us at the time because it was just a bit tough. And then we went to Indonesia, I believe, which we did hijrah to with all my kids. It was a bit tough, but we managed it. And my kids loved it as well. It was like a holiday for them, wasn't it? Yeah, it was an adventure, exactly. And then we went through the tough times and we had to come back. And then I believe because we did the Marbala, we felt like we were cursed, that everything was going wrong. And then he discovered Abu al-Sadiq, from him his peace, which I had never come across myself. And he then reminded me that he had refuted the brother on TikTok. And I don't remember that neither, because again, I wasn't following him as to what he was doing with the other Mahdi.
Yeah, I mean, you have enough on your plate.
Exactly. So
5 children and a lot of faith hopping.
Exactly. So then, but then when he did show me who Abu al-Sadiq, from whom peace was, I felt something, and I was like, hold on a minute, there's something here. And he goes, yeah, so this is, I was like, no, I think we need to look into this, because I don't know what it was, but I felt a bit of calmness, warmth, a bit like, actually, you know what? This could be it. Like, someone is here to save us. Like, something's happening here. And every time I watched his sermons, it was always like, kids, be quiet. I want to listen, you know? And then, yeah, it started from there. And then obviously I got given the Goal of the Wise, and I read through it. Obviously Naser pledges allegiance before me, but for me it was, I need to finish this book first.
Absolutely.
That was a very smart decision you made.
But the book wasn't shocking for me, and I think it's because I wasn't born in Islam. And I'm not saying Islam is the only religion you need to be to understand the book, but I think nobody fed me a whole load of things that I would have believed beforehand.
Right.
Like how Adam and Eve came about, how Noah was, Moses. Nobody fed me the story. So you could say that my cup was empty or even half full. But when I read the Goal of the Wise, I was like, wow, this is amazing. Yeah. And I was obviously not rushing through it, but I'm a bit of a bookworm, so I love reading. So it was one of those books where you can't put it down once you start. Yeah. And Naser was still...
Unputdownable.
Yeah.
That's your word, isn't it? It's on the back.
I know what you mean.
So we went in competition, but I was ahead of Naser when it came to the book. And I was like, oh, did you know? Oh my gosh. And he's like, stop telling me. He goes, I need to read it myself. I was like, but I can't. It's one of those things you can't hold it in.
It, right?
You want to tell somebody about it. But the book was amazing. All the chapters on all the covenants. I think for me, the test was the hardest chapter to read.
Tests, right? At the very end of the book,
it is, yeah. And the Egyptian chapter was shocking for me, I think.
How come?
Because of what I've already heard about Egypt. It's a bad place, you know, the pyramids and the pharaohs. Again, and everything.
Idols and all
exactly.
Stuff, right?
So it was, I mean, I think it wasn't even related to Islam. It was just in general, like, you know, they weren't good people and blah, blah, blah.
Which is like the story of Moses. The Egyptians are the bad guys.
Exactly. So reading the Egypt chapter on there was amazing. It was very eye-opening. But yeah, I think all the chapters are just, it was just amazing. It's an amazing book to read. And I think whoever hasn't read it needs to read it. It's a must. It's one of those books, even if you don't read normally, this is a book that you must either read or listen to on audio. It's just amazing.
Yeah, and we have to point out at this stage a critical quality and attribute that you had, which is so important, and Sister Ali also alluded to it, is the fact that, you went to your parents' home and you wanted to read the Quran for yourself. Yes. You wanted... You listen to your husband. He's clearly somebody who is very into religion. And he said, look, now the Mahdi has come, this individual, and it's doom and gloom, but he's the light that saves. And then you said, no, give me my time. I want to read this for myself.
Yes, yeah.
I want to understand this. I'm supremely busy with these 5 kids running around, all little kids. But at the same time, this is a key attribute that you need to have on this call, just
Yes.
because your other half is going down into a certain line and they have this conviction in them. You said, stop. I need to digest this for myself, and I will only come once I'm ready to come and once I understand what this is about. This is an absolutely pivotal moment, I guess, where I think the audience would really see this is what you need to be like.
Yeah, to be a true believer, that's your journey, that's your path, that's your exploration that you have to do, and you did it.
Of course, yeah.
And I really admire that you didn't just follow something. You said, no, I need to know before I continue, which proves that you are a true believer.
Yeah, I've always wanted to do things for myself, not because someone tells me to do something, because then you're doing it because someone told you rather than you wanted to do it.
Yeah.
So I believe that you wholeheartedly need to believe in it yourself, not because someone's inputting information into your system, which will obviously show that actually you do believe in it. It's not because someone's telling you to believe in it, you know. So then I pledged my allegiance in March. And then since then, my journey has just been amazing because I feel at peace. It's just been, I can't even explain it. Even talking about Abba al-Sadiq or thinking about Abba al-Sadiq, it makes me very emotional because I feel so blessed to have discovered that he's here on this earth. He's our savior. He's our king. I'm just blessed to be one of those people that has found him, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, I have a question. So, were you aware that in Hindu eschatology, there's a personality that is called the Kalki, which translates to destroyer of darkness, and correct me if I'm wrong, but were you aware that this kind of similar end times figure also exists within Hinduism on a white horse, wielding the sword of justice?
Actually, I wasn't.
Okay.
If somebody had told me that, then again, that would have a little bit convinced me that, hold on a minute, there is something here we're waiting for.
Yeah.
But I don't even know if in Hinduism, many Hindus even know of this concept.
Right.
Interesting.
Because my parents, I don't think they know about it. So when I obviously have come here to the community and I've asked the questions, and there are lovely sisters and brothers who are currently looking into it, they told me about it. And now I'm also looking into it, and the similarities between Kalki and Muhammad. Wow, amazing. Like, so that makes me believe that it is Muhammad, Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, that we're waiting for. It's just a different name in Hinduism. And people just need to try and link this together, Yeah. And I think the other people need to understand is no one's going to come knocking at your door to tell you. You have to investigate yourself. You have to go out there in search, but then you've got to be in that mindset that you're looking as well, not just because someone's told you to. You've got to be looking wholeheartedly yourself.
Yeah, and there are other very fascinating concepts, and this is where I think time is unfortunately against us, but there's so much to talk about.
There is a lot.
There's a concept of the Trimurti, the Dashavatara of Vishnu, which means the preserver God that comes, like we say, the spirit of God, and inhabits these individuals at different times. There is a story of Manu, who is like the direct equivalent of Noah, that comes in a flood and then establishes a nation with the rishis. There are so many unifying things, aren't they? And Abba al-Sadiq is the one that really unifies all the religions.
Yeah, I would love to know what you felt when you were watching those lectures that he delivered on the Hindu topics, right? The Hinduism topics.
They were very shocking for me.
Yeah, how come?
Yeah, because obviously I didn't even know that they were prophets.
Yeah, that we believe that they're prophets. That's incredible.
And to
Krishna
find out,
Arjuna.
So I'm currently trying to revise myself on the whole Hindu sort of background. So I'm trying to read the Mahabharata and the Bhagavad Gita and everything, just to sort of go back into memory, just to see. And obviously now that I'm in Islam as well, and I know a little bit more, I think I'll be able to see the connections and relate it more and say, well, hold on a minute, this is very similar to each other. But also obviously Abba al-Sadiq, from his peace, has told us what the similarities are and how everything connects. But his sermons are just amazing. Like, it doesn't matter which one you watch anyways, well, regardless of if it's Hinduism, Christianity, Judaism, it's just all amazing. Just listening to him, like,
it is something.
It's one of those voices that you just want to carry on listening to, if that makes sense. I think there's a connection. It just kind of goes into your body, like, you know. But yeah.
Yeah, if you have a thirst for knowledge and spiritual knowledge in particular, Abba Sadiq is that endless well that is available to listen to, and he has all of these sermons and lectures, like you said, Sister Priya, that I think anybody from any faith background can really resonate with and take something from.
Yes,
and like I said, he is the only person who is bringing together these other traditions that are completely alien to the Abrahamic religions, which is Hinduism, Buddhism, and other religions of the East that were considered to be alien, and now they all sit around the table of nations eating from the food, the spiritual food and nourishment of the riser of the family of Muhammad.
Yes.
It was so nice having you on today,
It was
Priya.
lovely
Thank you
being
so
here.
much.
Thank you so much for having me.
Loved that interview so much. Really enjoyed listening to your story, and I think you are definitely someone who is inspiring many others who are listening to read The Go of the Wise and say to themselves, what is it about this book that is bringing all kinds of people into the call?
Yeah. And also it's unputdownable. And also the main lesson I think that I took from speaking to you, sister, is that the fact that somebody can take you to the door.
Yeah.
But you're the one who has to walk through it.
Definitely.
And don't walk through it until you are absolutely sure in your own self.
Yep.
Because everyone is accountable for their soul, ultimately.
Of course.
That's such an important lesson, and I think that's a huge takeaway from today's interview. Thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you again very soon, inshallah. And until then, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Assalamu alaikum.